Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manataq. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk. Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Manataq. It is June 22nd, 2023. That's 6/22/2023, and I've been watching a lot of stuff lately in regards to climate change. I'm trying to figure out how much of a scam it is, which most people will tell you it's not. It's not a hoax, it's real. And I understand the implications of pollution. I understand the implications of chemical, oil, coal, all these spills and stuff like that pollute our water, our lakes, our rivers, our oceans, nuclear, another big lie. I don't care what anybody says. I've done extensive research on that. But it depends on who's backing it. Because when you have the last Davos meeting where John Kerry and Al Gore were asked this simple question: what is it going to take to stop climate change, from the audience, right? Which was staged. It was very well. It's always, the whole fucking thing is staged. They go money, 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 and then it went to John Kerry. He goes money, 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 money. Well, where does that money go? We know where it goes. It goes straight in their pockets. It doesn't go at us. Right? Biden just authorized some kind of environmental, social governance process, gave $600 million to that cause. And there it is. There's your money, 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 money. But the people that are doing it, that are in it, right, that are part of it, and I gotta say, these are people I really don't trust, or nobody should trust. I mean, do you trust these people? I mean, after what we've been through for the past, I don't know, 3 years, maybe 10 years, 20 years of just bullshit and promise after promise of really taking care of the 99.9%. I haven't seen anything happen. I mean, there's millions of people in the streets that are homeless. Just drive in LA. Drive in San Francisco, go to any major city, they're everywhere. There's just, the water is terrible. They fill it full of chemicals and junk. Fluoride is bad. It's very bad. And they keep saying it's good when we know it's not. The FDA is compromised, criminal entity. The CDC is a compromise and a criminal entity. Just, my perspective. FDA, criminal compromised entity. NIH, Health and Human Services, all of them. They don't work for you. They don't care. They portray they care. Health and safety and health, right? And it's fucking, when this guy's just been hosing people for fucking ever, him and his boyfriend Michael.
And yes, my plan will continue to reduce the carbon pollution that is heating our planet, because climate change is not a hoax. More droughts and floods and wildfires are not a joke. They are a threat to our children's future, and in this election, you can do something about it.
He's got them all fooled. I was fooled. I remember. I remember being in that position. I remember, thinking that Greta Thunberg was the thing. I was there. I remember. A lot of, I understand now. I understand what they're doing. I get it. This entire process. It's brilliant. Jimmy was talking about it today.
Greta Thunberg tweets it. So Greta Thunberg is obviously an op, right? She's working for the people who want to crush us economically. That's what it seems like to me.
Me too.
She's in bed with the WEF.
Yes.
And she looks like a psyop.
Totally.
And she's pro-war. She's a war pig.
Yes.
And so she's repeating CIA talking points on the war and stuff like that. So time to stop listening to Greta Thunberg, especially since she tweeted this out 5 years ago. She said this was on June 21st. What's today? June 21st, right? She said a top climate scientist is warning that climate change will wipe out all of humanity unless we stop using fossil fuels over the next 5 years. So it's 5 years later. We haven't. In fact, Joe Biden is now opening up preserve wild.
Yeah, nothing's happened. She's had several different theories and predictions that are all baloney. For example, like this one here.
Well, it turns out.
Hold on. It's like fucking Jesus, man. You feel like a fool. You just feel like you've been totally fooled, right? I don't have to show you. Let's watch this guy.
People are familiar with that thin blue line that the astronauts bring back in their pictures from space. That's the part of the atmosphere that has oxygen. It's only 5 to 7 kilometers thick. We're still putting 162 million tons into it every single day. That's what's boiling the oceans, creating the droughts and melting the ice and raising the sea level and causing these waves of climate refugees. Every piece of pro-climate legislation, the oil and gas industry and the coal industry, they come in and fight it tooth and nail.
Yeah, he's really selling. He's been selling the fuck out of this narrative forever. Just this motherfucker, I swear to gosh. I've done my research. I've really checked where these people are at, what they're doing. It's all about money, money, money. They're not doing this for your benefit. It's not for your benefit. I am telling you. He actually, not he. It was, who was that? Somebody recently. Where is it? Yeah, this is recent. This is a couple weeks ago.
Shelves.
A commercial.
Shelves, smart enough.
Yeah, wait till this passes. We gotta wait another 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Oh, God. Yeah, I got Brave, I just don't use it. Here we go.
Living on the front lines of the climate crisis today. Countless of people. And it is already a death sentence to countless of people living on the front lines of the climate crisis today. But the political will is nowhere to be seen. The people in power are spending their time looking for false solutions and finding and creating loopholes which maintains business as usual and keeps them in the position of power. And our responsibility and our role here as activists in conferences like this is to call them out and to tell the truth. And the truth now is that these processes are failing. They are failing us here in this room. They are failing our children.
So
they are
convincing.
failing all of humanity. And the future generations to come, but most importantly, they are failing the people bearing the brunt of this crisis today and have been for the last decades.
Yeah, so then we have these people, okay, which is important for you to see these people here. Four fishes, this one? Yeah. This is I mean, there's countless groups, but these are the people that destroy paintings and tie themselves to statues and shit like that, right? They're called the climate defiance.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Really an honor to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me the words. I just want to thank you all. Thank you all for your commitment. Thank you for your care. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being relentless on this issue. Because if you are not relentless, my colleagues in Congress are not going to respond in the way that they need to respond to the urgency of the moment. If you're not relentless, the White House is not going to respond. And as you know, my colleagues in Congress are not going to respond in the way that they need to respond to the urgency of the moment.
Relentless. Yeah, it's amazing. It's fucking amazing. It's just out of control. You know, yes, we have pollution. We need to definitely, there's so many things we could do to help slow down the pollution, or you're not going to stop it. I don't care what you say. You're just, you've no matter how you throw the dice or move your mice. But what the World Economic Forum wants you to do is they want people to get so relentless, so crazy, right? And they're crazy. They're fucking nuts. They're screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling at each other and people, and it's just crazy. You know, Karen, you know, you've seen it. This, put on your mask. Put on your mask. Wear it above your nose. It's the same fucking people. You know? It's a lot of marketing. But when you hear from people like Dave Penna, I think his name was. Oh, wait. Dave Pena. I mean, this guy, the way he says this, I'm just like, well, yeah, that fucking makes sense. Because I brought up this point several times recently. The point being, see if I got it here. Oh, man. Go back, do it again. Dan Penna, yeah, that's his name. And what he says here is just, this hits home. If you're a homeowner, or if you've ever owned property, they send you a prospectus in your title or before you sign on if your property is on a fault line or if it's in a flood zone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing that he's made clear forever, and I can attest to this by the fact that, well, let's just listen to him. Hang on. Go ahead. Here we go. It's just fucking epic.
Okay. In 2011, my wife and I were in Antarctica, renewing our vows. For most of you that don't know, Antarctica's on a mountaintop. Okay? And there is a $500 million facility, scientific facility there, and the scientists came to give us presentations about global warming. and they had cores of ice that they had drilled. They had drilled 4,000 or 5,000 cores, and they only brought 15 or 20. So they're going through the second or third core, and they said 275,000 years ago, this was the temperature, blah, 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 blah. And then 55,000 years ago, the world was 2 degrees warmer Celsius than it is today. This is 2011. And, oh, wait, stop. And he said, and I said, well, you mean the whole world? He says, yes. And the polls are only benchmarks. And I said, well, what about the things that the young woman alluded to? Okay? And he said, it's all cyclical. And although the gas may have exacerbated it, in the cosmos of time, it's not a fart in the wind. In the cosmos of time, of the 13.8 billion years that we've been on this miserable planet, it's not a fart in the wind. And as I told Joe Rogan on his show, and he said in his infinite wisdom, and Joe, if you hear this, I thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. He said, then in 25,000 years, it's most likely not going to be a problem. Now, my direct answer to your question, if that were really true, which you believe, and let's just for a moment say that it is true, that means that the best scenario vis-a-vis global warming is about 10 feet raise in water. That's the best scenario over the next 40, 50 years. That's the best scenario. The worst scenario is about 100 feet. But let's just take the 10 feet. If the water on the planet is going to rise up 10 feet, that means the southern part of the United States is gone. England is gone. Most of Europe is gone. And I can go, most of Central America is gone. Okay. If that's the case, let's just take Florida, for example, which is one of the fastest growing beachfront condominiums on the planet. In the prospectus, when you invest, there should be, in the footnotes, if global warming is for real, they won't put it that way, global warming happens and water rises 10 feet, this investment you made is fuck all. Not one single investment prospectus written since 2000, this century, has alluded to global warming. Not one motherfucker. If it were really true, the banks wouldn't invest. The banks wouldn't finance. Not one motherfucking condominium. So the people that have the money, and I'm jealous of the Vice President, Gore, which Sally and I rode on a plane from South America with a few years ago. I am jealous he came up with a scam before I did. Because the financial institutions, the banks of this world know it's not going to happen. Otherwise, you couldn't get a goddamn loan in London. You know those 30, 40-year mortgages? The world will be over by then. Is Barclays Bank going to give you a motherfucking loan? With the greatest respect, ma'am, it's the greatest fraud that's been perpetrated on mankind this century.
If what he's saying, he's very adamant, obviously, about it, is, as I was saying earlier, is let's just say you're buying a condominium or a townhouse or a commercial property, and you're about to sign the paperwork. Well, they have, like I said, they have to disclose if it's in a flood zone. You have to take flood insurance, you know, if it's a business, a BOP, business opportunity policy, business owners policy. You have to get, you know, flood insurance in there. And if, you know, you have, that would be indicated. So they always indicate insurance-wise and loan-wise with the banks what the risks are, so you're financially prepared. They have to. It's almost like it's like a written law with financing or funding. But not a single motherfucker, he's saying, has seen that to be true when you have a house that's on sea level 20 yards away from the ocean. In other words, you can see from your porch that the waves breaking in your back porch that are maybe 20, 30, 40 yards from the shore are higher than you. That happens all over the country, all over the world, right? And there's a person that bought, I'm looking for the picture, but I can probably just type it in. Bill Gates, Corona Del Mar, right here, watch. Bill Gates, Corona Del Mar, property. $43 million mansion, a bachelor pad, right? That's a bachelor pad. I know exactly where this is. As a matter of fact, is that my picture? Holy shit. Somebody used my picture on the internet. I made that circle. I told everybody. Oh my God. Oh, that's the New York Post? What? And then I wrote the piece on this. You gotta watch this. Okay, let me get over here. Sorry. Like, what are you talking about? I don't see what you're fucking talking about. What the fuck are you talking about? Right here. Wow. That's craziness. That is fucking amazing. Right here. That's my picture that I put on. And I guess it got on Google and somebody just swiped it. Wow. That is fucking odd. And I showed the city and I showed the area. Now what's really interesting is, as you can see, right, that's sea level. And you can't see from there, right? But just north of that picture, right, the front of the house, or the alley or whatever, is where the X is, if you can see it, right, that little X dot. And then the back of the house, where the back porch is looking over the ocean, and the waves break right there. Now this guy, the climate change guy, buys this fucking land March 23rd, 2022. And they call him a nuisance. It's like, what the fuck? This is a guy that's been pushing climate change for fucking, I don't know, decades. He's him and Greta Thunberg. So why would you buy a piece of property that's $43 million, knowing that the oceans is going to rise in 5 years per Greta Thunberg in 2018, and you've been saying it for over a decade, probably maybe two. Do you guys understand what's happening? I mean, just those two examples alone of seeing of Dan Penna, who's a rich motherfucker, right? He's like a financial coach for the rich and all, whatever. But he sees what's going on with the World Economic Forum, and he thinks it's the biggest travesty that's going to happen if we allow it. And these are the people that are running the show. Bill Gates, you know, all the parasitic class. I don't call them elites because they're not. They're shit. And they're just fucking everywhere. Right? And this, and these people are just fucking fooled. It's just goddamn amazing. And there's just tons of this stuff. There's tons and tons and tons and tons. And Obama said that he's out there, and right? It's just continuously pressed in people's heads. And if you go on to
at the annual World Economic Forum meeting.
At the World Economic Forum meeting, right? Here, you gotta watch this one. Alright, this is important, just so you know. We can't keep doing this. This is craziness. This is fucking. This is nuts. This is just nuts. It's like, you heard him say that. Dan Penna said, I was fucking mad that I didn't think of this scam. Right? What does that say? Because it's a fucking scam, and I fell for it, and people fell for it, and Democrats are still falling for it, and they're still pushing it. They're still fucking pushing it, man. It's crazy. All right?
In Davos, held from the 16th to 20th of January.
I'm going to start that over.
At the annual World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, held from the 16th to 20th of January, weighty conversations took place, particularly regarding climate change. As the crisis intensifies, billionaires and world leaders are pledging to create and enact climate affirmative policies. The theme of the meeting this year, Cooperation in a Fragmented World, called for businesses and global institutions to work together to combat pressing issues affecting the world today, and climate change is a priority. Here are some of the key statements and takeaways from the discussion. At the annual World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, held.
If you ever find yourself needing to open a combination lock without using the
by the way, the lock dude. No, this is craziness. We have got to stop immediately just jumping aboard anything that mainstream media throws out, and I just keep telling people. I mean, if the Associated Press is throwing something out there, that's anything with fear in it, anything. I don't care what the fuck it is. If PBS, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, I don't give a fuck who nowadays. I really don't. But if it's backed by corporations, big pharma, big this, big that, big this, big money, big, all this shit, you have to take it with a grain of salt, or do your own research, like I've been doing for fucking ever, and try to decipher what's really happening. Especially with mainstream media. You can't just fucking say, oh my God, Greta or somebody, or fucking, oh God, the celebrities too. Anytime you have a celebrity that requires $200 million to do a fucking movie, come out and say something, you got to be careful. Either if it's for something that you think is decent or not, you still need to find out what their motivation is, right? Because now if they come out, if it's a staged, marketed, branding type commercial, then it's bullshit, right? And if it comes from an NGO, I mean, it's just the red flags are everywhere. The red flags, meaning, that just doesn't look right. That's what a red flag means. So people that don't know, you see something on TV, like for example, the Ocean Gate submarine, Ocean Gate, by the way. Ocean Gate has a lot to do with some people that were in the way, by the way. There's some information on that. And actually, who brought it up? Let me see. Titanic cover-up, Rothschild funded Ocean Gate sink sub to hide truth about Titanic. Did the iceberg really sink the Titanic? So, you guys do realize that the gold standard was ripped from the earth when the Titanic sank, right? And a lot of the people that were against it, some of the major players that didn't want the gold standard to go away, were on the Titanic. There's so many things that happen that we're learning about later on in life that we wish we would have known, but wish we would have known or been privy to or had an inclination of. But it's very hard. It's very hard. Hey, Snork, for people to differentiate, right? Like I've always said, yeah, we have a fucking pollution problem. Our recycling process doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist because most of the products out there, plastics, don't get recycled. Most of it ends up in landfill. Most of it. A lot of it's incapable of being recycled. A lot of Dow Chemical. They just keep making glue after epoxy after glue after epoxy. You have brake dust. Joe Rogan just said this the other day. He was brake dust accounts for more particle filaments that are bad for us that leak into the fucking oceans and rivers constantly, that are just 5 times worth of the carbon itself that's out there floating in the world. The brake, the actual tire particles. What happens when your tires wear down? What happens? What happens when that stuff doesn't just stick to a track like a racetrack? Some of it does, but over time, it goes into a river. It gets swallowed in by a fish, right? It gets sucked up by some crustacean on the ground, on the floor of an ocean. There's so many things that we need to do to help this, but I really don't believe that the people that are in charge of all the technology, that have the money, have the power, have the influence, give a fuck. If they did, they'd be thinking like I do. They'd be making sure we had the cleanest water, the cleanest food. They'd be making sure that CERN, the Hadron Colliders, all the other Hadron Colliders throughout the world, Snorks mentioned that there's been a bunch of them, I don't know. But there's few, that's for sure. That technology and that power is in the hands of the people that actually want to do what's best for the 99.9%. The person that runs CERN in Switzerland, the lady that runs it, she's like a World Economic Forum, like completely, that's her, she is connected to the hip of the World Economic Forum. They all are. When it comes to like anything, like the tech, like NASA, I mean, Space Force, all these other fucking companies that are out there building rockets and shit, all World Economic Forum crap. I don't like these people being in charge of this stuff, right? As I said, because they want to dictate what we do. They want to make sure that they're going to tell us where to go, how to do it, what to do, and they want to exterminate you. I've been saying this for fucking ever now. It's over 3 years, that's for sure. Is their main goal, right? Why is that going to the top? God darn it. Hang on. I just put it in order. Move to top. There you go. Thank you very much. I created this. Chose Vanguard, BlackRock. I didn't put State Street in there. Whatever. Bill Melinda Gates. Social control, mass depopulation, world central banking. That's the New World Order. That's the Great Reset. That's 2030. That's SPARS. That's Agenda 201. That's CloudX. And all those proposals. That's what that is. They want to get rid of you. It's hard for people to fathom that. It's hard for people to fathom that there's a group of people out there that want to fucking just murder, basically, genocide over 2/3 of the planet. Of course they do. They're hoarding it. They want to hoard it. They don't need your money. If, like I said, if central bank digital currency actually happens in the United States and goes live and becomes implemented, you will not have autonomous, untraceable money. You cannot stick money in your vault, in your mattress, under your pillow. You get it, teeth falls out. For kids, they'll track everything. As a matter of fact, they want to do that anyway. They want to track everything you have, so they can control everything you have. But let me get back to what I was talking about. If we go back here, there's Greta's little gig. I'm going to go to this one here. Yeah. Where is it? That was a good one. There was a few of them. Right? Yeah, these people just... Yeah, here it is. This is what...
What is the real story of January 6th?
Yeah, it was bullshit.
Many
Staged.
people have asked that question.
We know that. We know the story already. Skip this ad. President Joe Biden is expected to announce more than $600 million in climate investments meant to fight rising sea levels, protect coastal communities. That's contractor money, right? That's contractor money. And I understand we need that in certain areas. There's no doubt. But these things are stupid, right? These are fucking stupid. Right? There's just so many things. What is this NIBTU? Yeah, that's just a lot of fucking money. I mean, could we invest that money in... Well, let me look at this. Wait. Sierra Club, totally compromised. League of Conference, LCV. The Action Fund, that money will go to them, of course. Next Gen PAC. And the NRDC Action Fund. Let me just see. League of Conservation Voters. League of Conservation Voters, World Economic Forum. Right. What is this? NPR. Let's see if they're at Davos. I'll tell you. It looks like somebody's already checked that. Endorsements. Let's try somebody else. Next Gen PAC. Next Gen PAC. Next Gen, is that one word? Next Gen PAC, right? NextGenAmerica.org. Climate Action Committee. Here he is. Which celebrities narrates a new climate change act? This is back in 2014. What are they doing? I can't play it. It'll go to my other account. Doom Titanic. There's a connection. It's gonna pop up. I'm telling you. NRDC Action Plan. Let's check that. NRDC Action Fund. Sorry, you should be following along with my search. My bad. Here we go. NRDC Action Fund. Let's see what we got. And we're going to go. Oh, fuck it, the location shit. NRDC Action Fund. Davos. It's like it's there. About Energy Action Fund, make a donation. Five keys takeaways from Davos. Natural Resources Defense Council. Alright. This is just me researching. Sorry. Yeah, this is very well funded. Oh, you know what? I should put in a different name. Right? How about this one? Bill Gates. Action Fund and front lines clear on the Action Fund, Action Fighting Health and Community. Arc, Canada Parks in Utah shut their gates. No, that's not it. Oh, here it is. DEBNA will focus on the work the Global Commission's adoption chaired by Bill Gates. There you go. Just fuck, man. Right? Just for fuck's sakes. I mean, he's death. The guy is death. Anything tied to him is just death, and anything he does, in my opinion, is criminal to the purest. I mean, there's a connection to the World Economic Forum. But if I kept going, I'm not going to fucking keep wasting my time with that. But I could almost guarantee. I'll guarantee it, and I'll probably put it in the notes later, which I've done before. But these people are just fucking relentless. There's money behind it. There's a narrative. There's money in fooling you, continuously fooling you. Right? Oh, here's a good one. So this guy.
How to escape the heat if you don't have an air conditioner.
Not that guy.
This only takes 5 minutes.
If you're over 45, technology companies, Ukraine would have been fully offline within weeks of the war, and the people as he runs again for the presidency. It's social media platforms and their ability to promote disinformation and conspiracy theory. Without them, we do not have riots in the Capitol on January 6th.
Look, right there. This is a TED Talk that was pretty recent. Like a few weeks, 8 days ago, for fuck's sakes. Right? The only people that talk on TED Talks are connected to the World Economic Forum. I have fucking done extensive work with this. Extensive. Oh no, I'm sorry, Schneider. I just read this now. I'll be gone soon. I'm going to get off. I had a long day. Me and my grandson and my brother, my son-in-law, went and saw Transformers. It was fucking cool. I thought it was a good one. Lots of action, shooting, robots tearing each other apart. I'm okay with them tearing each other apart. But yeah, so this guy's just listen to his narrative right there, right? He's 100%
media platforms and their ability to promote disinformation and conspiracy theory. Without them, we do not have riots in the Capitol on January 6th. We do not have.
Yeah. This guy's shit. They're all shit. What did I put in here? I think they deleted it. I put, you're just a piece of shit or something like that. I put that. Where's that? Something. I don't. Maybe somebody commented on it. Nope. Yeah. So it's just everywhere. I mean, how many TED Talks are there about climate change? Let's look. TEDx, climate. How am I spelling that? I've been typing it for like a day now. TEDx, ideas about climate change. Look at that. There's thousands of them. Thousands of them. Look, how many more? See more. More. There's tons of them. Just list goes on and on and on. TED Talks about climate change. TED Talks about climate change. Fucking everywhere. It's crazy. Fucking crazy. Yeah, I'm going to be up here pretty soon. I just wanted to go over this climate change thing, and I want people to differentiate the pollution from the ozone, because Al Gore just told us that there's tons of carbon, which there's always been tons of carbon, but I also informed people that there was a volcano that went off a few weeks ago, a week or so ago, that spewed out more carbon dioxide in a day than the United States produces in a year. Yet ESG, environmental social governance, is going to kill 200,000 cows because they're bad, or or you can't drive a fucking diesel car or a gas vehicle or a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, or, whatever. Yeah, it's just, this is craziness. It's way fucking out of control. People are just fucking buying it left and right. And that's my conclusion, and I'm sticking with it. It's a scam. Dan Panas, this rich fucking son of a bitch, said, and I just showed it to you. I'm pissed off that I didn't fucking think of this scam first, because it is. Bill Gates just buys a house in 2022, $43 million in Corona Del Mar. If you need the address, I'll tell you where it's at. I'll send you the picture. It's at sea level, whereas if he sits in his back porch of this $43 million villa in Corona Del Mar, California, it's like San Diego, California area, you'll see the waves directly in front of you. The water line will hit your feet. His back porch is 20 fucking yards from right here. I showed you. His back porch is freaking 20 damn yards. 20 damn yards. Right? You can see it right there. If you zoom in, right there, okay? Right? That's his villa. He's fixing it up. The guy that's telling you that everything's going to sink in the ocean, right? There's a person walking just on the shoreline. You can barely see right there where they're, like right there. Hopefully you can see my cursor. The ocean washes up right there. Tell me that isn't hypocritical, like to the 1,000%. Tell me you really believe these people have your best interest. Tell me. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, he's not moving out, Snark. He needs to go to jail. The guy's a fucking murderer. We know that now. He's a murderer, right? He's caused. He's not allowed in India. He's not allowed in Taiwan. He's not allowed in the Philippines. I think it's Iran and Pakistan. And they don't want to fucking. If they see that guy, he's got arrest warrants in countries because they know what he's done, and he runs the World Health Organization. Basically, kind of. He's the greatest funder. We used to be. And that's where we get all our information from, the pandemic treaty. We have to follow what these unelected pedo sick motherfuckers tell us. This isn't the whole fucking thing is insane. And people don't see it. They're still scrambling around, yelling at each other, getting all fucking nutsy, screaming, right? Causing dissension. Yesterday we engaged in civil disobedience and a keynote speech by the pro-pipeline U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, and also fucking Joe Manchin, he's a shithead. Right? It's not the fossil fuels that are fucking you over, people. It's not helping. But there's so many other things you could be doing. Right? So you want to go to full electric. So how are we going to make that? You got to mine. Right? You got to mine and get. It's just they just don't understand that they're being fooled. That's the problem. They've got people upset. Greta Thunberg has laughed in the face of reporters. So you flew it on a jet, right, Greta? With, a jet, a big fucking jet when you went to the last Davos meeting. She's giggling. This is funny. Right? Right? We got to be careful with Robert F. Kennedy, by the way. He's a fucking climate change proponent. Right? Where's that one on? I'm going to find out real quick. The one that Joe Rogan was talking about. Give me a second. Where are we? I'm just going to leave that up. I'm going to show you this. Jerry wants to see the scientists debate vaccine denying. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're fucking running already. Nothing happened to Rochelle Walensky. She was proven to be just full of shit and a liar, but nothing happened to her. Has any other Twitter CEOs been handcuffed for violating our First Amendment rights? Any of them? No. Yeah. Right. Nothing. Now, where is this real quick? I think I had it. Hang on. It's probably way down here, but I'm going to find it because now it was one of the shorts that I had. Hang on. Yeah. One of the shorts. Oh, look at that. It was one of the shorts, Joe Rogan. That's right. Now I'm going too far back. Damn, nabbit. A couple more clicks. Just in case, a couple more clicks. Yeah. No. That's not it. Anyway. is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. 3M to pay more than $10 billion in PFAS case. What is that?
What if every moment was a mile?
What is this?
Pay one of the largest settlements ever in U.S. history. 3M is shelling out more than $10 billion over the next 13 years for forever chemicals found in drinking water. Danny Spiewak joins us now with details. Danny?
Julie, 3M has agreed to pay billions to public water systems across the country. That could even include cities here in Minnesota that provide your drinking water. The money will help cities treat and test for PFAS, a chemical that 3M and other companies have used for decades and which may be associated with serious health risks.
Oh, shit.
With headquarters towering over the East Metro, 3M is the fourth largest Fortune 500
Wait, what?
So the
Let's
company
start that
has
again.
agreed to pay one of the largest settlements ever in U.S. history. 3M is shelling out more than $10 billion over the next 13 years for forever chemicals found in drinking water. Danny Spiewak joins us now with details. Danny?
Julie, 3M has agreed to pay billions to public water systems across the country. That could even include cities here in Minnesota that provide your drinking water. The money will help cities treat and test for PFAS, a chemical that 3M and other companies have used for decades and which may be associated with serious health risks. That 3M and other companies have used for decades and which may be associated with serious health risks. That 3M and other companies have used for decades and which may be associated with PFAS, a chemical that 3M and other companies have used for decades and which may be associated with serious health risks. PFAS, a chemical that 3M and other companies have used for decades and which may be associated with serious health risks.
Hey, let's do the old checkaroonie. I want to see if 3M was at Davos, and I could have sworn I thought I saw they were there. 3M, Davos. Yeah, they were diversity, equity, and inclusion. Of course, they have that because you know they don't. 3M well positioned. 3M to cut about 2,500 manufacturing jobs. Oh, I wonder why. Because they're being sued. Dow Inc. CEO Gene Fisher elected to 3M board. That was in 2021. He's going to be gone. Davos just didn't seem right. Yeah. Let me see if they're part of the board. World Economic Forum. AI Talk, Turning Point in Emerging Technologies. Latest installment AI Talk featuring review over the World Economic Forum tech. Of course they are. Of course they are. Of course they are. Of course they are. Of course, of course, of course. They are, they are, they are. Right? Fuck. It's just for fuck's sakes, man. Where did I put that? Oh, darn it. Yeah. Yeah, of course they are. Of course they're a part of the World Economic. What other criminal entity is part of the World Economic Forum mafia? Amway. I mean, everything associated with the World Economic Forum has CEI, ESG, and DEI connected to it. All of them. CEI is the Corporate Equality Index, right? Which wants to promote pedophilias and grooming. DEI wants to promote pilots that aren't the best pilots to fly you around, but they're black. right? Or vice versa, or Hispanic, or from India, whatever. You guys get the point? I'm just like, what the fuck? And then, that's CEI, DEI, and then ESG, environmental, social governance. They've started this shit. They started all this. This is the Davos 2022. I have the list for 2023. I'm going to get out pretty soon. I'm just kind of on a roll right now. Look, I keep telling everybody. Right? I keep telling everybody. They are the fucking hub. Right? They need everything they represent is part of it. Where's my other picture? There's supposed to be a big picture of a fucking hospital in here. God damn it. Should be right there. They're just bad poison, man. They're just terrible. That's like where the hive is. Dr. Shiva, which you guys should look into, he's pretty harsh, and he makes sense. I mean, everything he's saying is fucking pretty true to form, but he's just brutal. Bobby Kennedy is a fucking criminal and all this other shit. Yeah. Robert, yeah, they're all fucking, why in the fuck would Robert Kennedy go in as a Democrat, right? Because he's trying to pull people to the fucking DNC. And where are you going to send your money? Right? To the DNC. Right? That's what's going to happen. It's just so fucking obvious what the fuck he's doing. If he really wanted to get on the ballot, if he really wanted to fucking challenge Biden, he would have ran as a Republican. That's a fucking no-brainer, man. That is a no-brainer. If he really wanted to make a difference, he would have ran as a Republican, right? But no. He's pulling a Bernie Sanders, right? He's pulling a Bernie Sanders. Cornel West, stick a fork in that fucker because, it's pretty obvious. The Green Party has ballot access in like 5 places. They have maybe 100,000 people. They've been disbanded. It's just, why don't you just, it just makes no sense. If you want to get on the ballot, and you don't have to be a staunch Republican all your life to be. This is what people need to understand. So if you're going to run as a Democrat, you don't want to run as a Democrat. If you want to run for POTUS, you're an idiot if you say you're going to be on the Democratic ballot, because they're not going to, in the primary, they're not going to let you have it. They've already chosen their idiot. It's the same idiot they've been using for the past few years now. So why don't you the best thing to do is to go to the Republican Party, right? If you don't like the World Economic Forum, the vaccines, if you don't like the mandates, if you don't like the stripping of our First Amendment rights and trying to take away our Second Amendment rights, if you don't like the fucking woke trans crap or whatever, you should or the climate change scam that I've been talking about just now, then you want to go to the fucking Republican Party. Most of the stuff he's talking about totally aligns with the Republican Party, but he went Democrat, knowing full well that Biden wasn't going to do any debates. How fucking stupid is that? Either he's stupid or just part of the entire stupidity. That was just fucking not. It's obvious. He's their Bernie Sanders. He's just going to try to pull people to the DNC side, and then they can get your phone number and your email. They can start asking for donations for Bobby Kennedy, for Robert F. Kennedy, and that money is going to go to what? What party? The DNC. Right? Oh yeah, the Republicans are going to have a debate, and they're all going to fucking talk, and that's what they're going to do. They're not going to, they're not going to pull the fucking Katie Hobbs shit. Carrie Lake and Katie Hobbs. That was just the most pathetic thing I've ever fucking witnessed in the history of this country. Is a fucking woman runs into the bathroom because she can't answer a simple question. Because she's just a sickly little weak creature. John Fetterman, a sickly little weak creature. Fucking Joe Biden, a sickly little weak fucking creature. These are just the puppets of. If you were to have a puppet, stick your hand up there and fucking make them talk, these are the fucking people. And they're all Democrats. Now, Robert F. Kennedy wants to fucking. I mean, that is just so. That was so telling. For him to. This, even after they announced that Biden was going to have any debates. Even after he's gonna, what the fuck? That is so fucking stupid. That is just, oh God, I don't know what to fucking tell you people. Yeah. Yeah, the chemicals last for a long time. You're right, it's not for sure. This is fucking nuts. And the stupidity is just overwhelming. The stupidity is fucking overwhelming. Right? Oh, look, Associated Press totally supporting and throwing out climate defiance. Because we can all trust the fucking Associated Press, right? Because they're always giving you the facts, and they've got their fact checkers. I'm fucking so amazed how dense we've become, and I get, look, this guy right here, and I understand his frustration. Let me see where it's at. Hang on, somebody may have fucking already. Where is it? He's in there somewhere. What was it? I just had it. Yeah. This fucking guy, you gotta watch him. He's brutally honest, brutally factual, brutally truthful. He's done.
In the earlier conversation we had, we talked about.
Right?
It says a guide to the revolution. Glenn Urban, I have a degree in art and also architecture.
He has a degree in like every fucking thing on the planet. He's an intellectual. Like, it's amazing what this fucking guy knows. But he really needs to work on his PR skills. I can tell you that for a fact. So the last one he did is 12 hours ago. He was showing how. Let me see. I was kind of
back into the swarm. So on Plague, which talks about why we need to build a movement and that you need the theoretical foundation. But let me really finish on a couple of points. That the swarm makes you hopeless. The way they make you hopeless is to have you keep talking about exposing them. It may sound contradictory, okay? So you have to understand that when, and particularly they expose themselves, not when it's at the right time, but when you can make a movie about it. Have you ever noticed that? It's like a rape is taking place and they walk away from it. Their media do not cover it. They wait until 2 years later and then they write a Hollywood movie about it, right? And then they make martyrs of people and they make money off of that. But they do not talk about the incident when it's occurring and amplified, because that would anger people into action. And I call that delayed truth. And delayed truth is deadly. It's engineered. Fucker Carlson didn't say shit about the backdoor portal that I discovered he knew about in 2020, because it could have made a difference. He could have amplified it to 100 million people. He didn't do that. We had to do that. And we were very successful at doing that.
I did that.
Robert fucking Kennedy didn't do anything about Fauci in 2020.
Yeah.
We ran the Fire Fauci campaign. We collected hundreds of thousands of signatures delivered to Trump. He was nowhere to be found.
That's true.
He waited a year and a half, stole all of our material, and wrote the real Anthony Fauci. And then he has someone else now writing the real Robert F. Kennedy book to amplify him as a truth warrior, which is stealing our words. So they literally copycat us, mimic us, because they want to mislead people back into the swarm. So they never tell the truth on time, because if they told the truth on time like we did, you would empower people and people would get empowered. And that's what our movement did in 2020. We did that, not Trump.
I remember. No. So that's what I was doing. I've known Shiva since 2018, I think it is. 2017, 2018. I've heard of, because I had been watching his fight against, anyway. And look at all the information he has. It's just fucking spot on. It's amazing. It's amazing what this guy has produced, honestly. And he'll piss you off. If you're a Trump supporter, he's going to piss you off. If you're a fucking Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's going to piss you off. If you're a Cornel West supporter, he's going to piss you off. Because it's very obvious, and I've been down this road many times, that, and the greatest, I think it was either Elle or it was Shelley, who comes on my show, just brilliant girls, recycled politicians. It's just this recycled politicians. It's got to go. It's got to go. I mean, as I said before, right now, this guy could fix what's happening. Trump's saying he could do it in a day. Well, we don't have time. We don't have time. In 2024, right? By the way, there's going to be, God, that's coming up pretty quick. You know, when is the 2024? It's on November, I know. What are the fiber kind of important dates in 2024 presidential race. The presidential election cycle begins as early as 2 years before the general election. It's already been moving. The general election for president takes place on November 5th. That's right. 2024. Right? So that's a lot of time. That is a lot of time. Hold on. This section is updated weekly. Primary caucus. These are the primaries. So the primaries, hold on, let me get you that. So this he makes sense, by the way. It's brutal to listen to him, I'm telling you. He's just fucking, and I get his frustration. He knows what he's fucking talking about. It's all, you guys have been fucking scammed forever. Forever. Okay. Yeah. Tracks important dates through the 20. telling you. I'm gonna be here. Yeah. Will I be here? Hopefully I'll be in Hawaii. So official election day, February 6, 2024. Right? Election certificate, April, November 5th is the general election. October 9th. Final certification, August 27th, 2024. July. Yeah. A lot of shit's happening pretty fast, right? And I don't think we have time. I don't think, I really, unless the Republicans can stop the CBDC from coming, which is supposed to be July the 5th, the day after the 4th of July, from like taking hold, and stop BRICS and Russia's currency and the ruble and all that, yen or yuan, whatever the fucking China's currency is. We're in a position where it may not be reversible. I don't think people understand that time's moving so. This process is moving. They want to get it implemented before Trump hits office, for sure. And I don't know if he'll be able to reverse what's happening to the dollar anyway. You know, people are signing up. Country after country after country are signing up with Russia and China. And then we're meeting with China. We're fucking just hanging out with China now. Right? What is this? Empire of Lies. What is this? I will put Ukraine first no matter what my German voters think of how hard their life gets.
To the people of Ukraine. But if I give the promise to people in Ukraine, we stand with you as long as you need us, then I want to deliver. No matter what my German voters think, but I want to deliver to the people of Ukraine. And this is why, for me, it's important to be always very frank and clear. And this means every measure I'm taking, I have to be clear that this holds on as long as Ukraine needs me. We are facing now a winter time where we will be challenged as democratic politicians. People will go on the street and say, we cannot pay our energy prices. And I will say, yes, I know, so we help you with social measures. But I don't want to say, okay, then we stop the sanctions against Russia. We will stand with Ukraine, and this means the sanction will stay also in wintertime, even if it gets really tough for politicians. But if I give the promise to people in Ukraine, we...
Yeah, they're going to... That's I've been saying this for a long time. You can vax the entire planet, but you can't feed the starving. Isn't that crazy? You ever thought about that? Thank you, Ricky Ranch. You have some good stuff. Right, that's got to be one of the greatest pictures that you'll ever know. How is that? How is that? You can't get an apple and a hot dog. Not that you want to get them a hot dog. It's probably not the right thing. Well, you know, a beef hot dog. A real beef Angus. Not even that. Let's just say a piece of fucking steak. A steak and lobster dinner. You can get a fucking, you know, it's just, come on, people. Right? Come on. You can vax the entire planet, but you can't feed the starving people that are on the planet. There's a lot of people on the Republican Party, so why do we need to feed everybody? We don't. We don't. There's a reason why they're not, why they're hungry, they're desperate. It's by design. Right? It's all by design. You don't think they have the capability to run a factory or have technology that could make certain products? China has slave labor and major manufacturing plants for a reason, right? There's a ton of information to show that some of these countries are left in the dark because they have to be left in the dark, not by us, not by people that care, but by companies that don't want them making products. Could you imagine Africa being the number one producer of socks or clothes or tennis shoes or the things that you buy from Temu or AliExpress or Amazon or whatever, all these products that are out there, eBay, et cetera, et cetera. Could you imagine? Yeah, well, I'm just telling you. It's all by design. This section of this planet is going to be poor by this parasitic, elitist, fucking monarchical oligarch, right? That's what they do. They're not going to be able to do it. We're going to make sure that we have it. We have the technology. Detroit City was an inside job. That wasn't an accident. Those buildings in Detroit that are all still to this day just ghost towns of giant factories all throughout, Detroit, Michigan, and everywhere, just all over the country. They're just below, at the tip, at the northern peninsula, on the inner Gulf of Mexico, just at the very top, type in Volkswagen manufacturing, and you'll see a gigantic plant there, and a few others that are in that area, I believe, Ford, where Mexico, at slave labor, makes lots of vehicles. That happened. That was huge in 2012, 2020, 2015, 16, 17. It's been a ghost town now because the World Economic Forum doesn't want cars to be made anymore. They don't want people to be here anymore. You really need to understand this. They're trying to literally kill you. If you're watching this, if you're hearing this, there's a murderer out there with a knife or a fucking Uzi or a fucking giant lightsaber, and he's cutting down people, or he's got a fucking tank or whatever the fuck, and this person's coming after you. This is the World Economic Forum. You have to take it that they're coming after you. You're not going to be able to hide. All these fucking preppers, I'm going to go get a thing in the ground. I'm going to live there for about 25, 30 years. I'm going to fucking go up in the mountains. I'm going to fucking live off the land. They're going after that land. They're going to go after everything. They're not going to leave anything untouched. Nothing. If they can reach vaccines across the entire planet, they're going to fucking find you. They're going to find you. Right? You guys got to go after them. I don't know how else to say this. I've shown the way to do it. Call your legislator, call your judiciary, call your fucking governor, call the executive, call everybody. Call anybody you fucking can, your mayor, I don't care. Right? Or call 202-224-3121, ask to speak to you, who your House of Representative is or your senator is. Leave a fucking message. No more WEF bullshit. We don't want the World Economic Forum or these unelected officials giving us ESG, CEI, DEI, fucking WHO pandemic treaty. We don't want any of this shit. Right? Go talk to them. Go out and protest as an individual. right? You have individual. It's not hard to do. I've done it. I've been out there. Anyway, you, when it starts happening, you're going to wish you guys would have protested, and that's what I don't want to see. That's what I don't want to see. Is I don't want to see. I don't want to say I told you so on this one. I do not. I can say a lot of shit about the vax and told you so about the fucking, candidates and all this other bullshit. Like, we're watching Lauren Boebert throw an impeachment at Joe Biden, but it still has to go through the Senate, right? It's like the House. That's fine. That's a nice. That was good. It was finally. It's good to see that, of course, right? But it's just a dog and pony show up there anyway. Has anybody from Twitter been fucking jailed yet for stripping everybody of their First Amendment rights? Anybody? Anybody from the FBI been handcuffed yet? Josh Hawley's been asking. He's my senator in Missouri. He's going, so anybody gone to jail yet or been handcuffed for this fucking criminal act crap that the fucking FBI and the Department of Justice? There is no justice. This is fucking crazy. Hey, Cheryl. I didn't know you were here. I don't know. When did you put that in there? I don't know. It's kind of late. See, I'm already yawning. I usually stay on later. If you got something you want to talk, look, my hours are different because I work late at night. But if you guys have something you want to discuss or come on here, because like the last show, it's up on Odyssey. We got into the misinformation thing or Ministry of Truth areas and that, so I had to put it over there. Then you guys just let me know, and I'll be on at 1, 2, 3. Just let me know. It's okay. I'll turn the fucking show back on. Right? I usually like to shut it down about at least the latest is like 3 in the morning. So we got time. So if you want to come on later, that's fine. I can actually just put it on hold. You have a month and a week before you have to go to work? Holy shit. Alright. Well, I'm going to take a break. Alright? It might be a 10-minute, 15-minute break. No, I'm going to play Dr. Shiba. That's what I'm going to do. But I think, let me see. I think I'm going to play this guy because, and how long is this? This is, that's a long time. I ain't going to play that long. Okay. I'll play like 10 minutes of it, and I'll be back.
And videos and tweets and posts. That guy's just milking money by telling the obvious. Their leaders, they give them their publicity. Fauci's, that's a no-brainer. By the way, Robert Kennedy didn't say anything against Fauci in 2020. He was promoting strict lockdowns, lock, step, and barrel with Fauci, and lock and step and barrel with Trump. He waited a year and a half because then he could be used as a tool to act as though he's some freedom fighter. He's full of shit. And that's what the swarm does. They anoint their leaders. They give them their publicity. And when real leaders like myself and others come from below and the movement for truth, freedom, health emerges, their immediate instinct is to make us invisible. But the problem they have is we got our word out to about 500 million people all over the planet in 2020 when there was this opening. And now we've built this very, very powerful educational movement. So they're not concerned again. Trust me, they're not concerned about James O'Keefe. That guy's just milking money by telling the obvious and then doing videos on the obvious, okay? What they are concerned about, will you break free from their anointed leaders? And that, what we call the not so obvious establishment. Will you get it? Oh my God, there's all these contradictions with Kennedy, and I'm not going to choose the lesser of two evils. That is their deep concern. Will you awaken to that? And will you also break free from their theater, and will you get disciplined to start understanding the dynamics? Their fear is that will you start learning system science, and where your children start learning it? So that's how you shatter the swarm. And they're concerned that you will actually fight for getting the life that you deserve versus relying on some idiot in Malibu flying Falcons and, you know, competing with how many women he can have sex with. That's Robert Kennedy. Okay. That's what they're concerned about. Will you actually follow one of your own? Will you actually learn how to govern? So again, let me repeat, they're not concerned about movies and videos and tweets and posts about child trafficking, about exploits and murders. They don't give a damn about that. That's why they allow it. But they will not allow guys like me and our movement visibility. The fact that that swarm video got out, I'm sure it had about 100 million views. That was because all of you took it and you started putting it out there. And that is called a movement. So if you truly care, you know, for yourself, your families, and want to get educated, want to get disciplined and get activated, well, you've come to the right place. That's the movement for truth, freedom, health. And that it's been a 50-year journey for me, a very long journey of a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, learning, getting all their degrees, doing work on my own, organizing, putting books together, and then, you know, it's congealed into what we have right now. We've created a organization of leaders globally. We've created about 500,000 students globally. But the goal is, this is about you. This is not about me. I just happen to be a place in history where I came from one of you. I never forgot where I came from. And I decided to put all that knowledge together to organize A, the understanding of system science, B, to put it into a framework that anyone can learn it within a few hours, and then not just make it theoretical, but get on the ground. You'll see me doing videos like this, and you'll see me on the ground handing out flyers. And that's what we expect. That's why we call our program the Truth, Freedom, and Health Warrior Scholar Program. It's not just you learn and then you just sit at home watching me, etc. This is about you getting off your butts and having reliance on yourself, learning how to lead, but you have to start with theory. And that's why the second to last video that John played, which talks about why we need to build a movement and that you need the theoretical foundation. But let me really finish on a couple of points. That the swarm makes you hopeless. The way they make you hopeless is to have you keep talking about exposing them. It may sound contradictory, okay? So you have to understand that when, and particularly they expose themselves, not when it's at the right time, but when you can make a movie about it. Have you ever noticed that? It's like a rape is taking place and they walk away from it. Their media do not cover it. They wait until 2 years later and then they write a Hollywood movie about it, right? And then they make martyrs of people and they make money off of that. But they do not talk about the incident when it's occurring and amplified, because that would anger people into action. So, and I call that delayed truth. And delayed truth is deadly. It's engineered. Fucker Carlson didn't say shit about the backdoor portal that I discovered he knew about in 2020, because it could have made a difference. He could have amplified it to 100 million people. He didn't do that. We had to do that. And we were very successful at doing that. Robert fucking Kennedy didn't do anything about Fauci in 2020. We ran the Fire Fauci campaign. We collected hundreds of thousands of signatures delivered to Trump. He was nowhere to be found. He waited a year and a half, stole all of our material, and wrote the real Anthony Fauci. And then he has someone else now writing the real Robert F. Kennedy book to amplify him as a truth warrior, which is stealing our words. So they literally copycat us, mimic us, because they want to mislead people back into the swarm. So they never tell the truth on time, because if they told the truth on time like we did, you would empower people and people would get empowered. And that's what our movement did in 2020. We did that. Not Trump, not Kennedy, none of these misleaders. And that is what they're afraid of. They're afraid that more people are going to not just wake up to the exposition of their oppression, but realize, oh, this is how I'm going to shatter the swarm. Okay? So therefore, they create their anointed leaders. Trump is anointed by them. They used Obama for 8 years, you know, black guy, first president, whatever, manipulated a lot of working people. Then they brought in Trump to manipulate white working class people. Now, because of our work, we've awakened people to break from the left and the right. So they bring in these two fools, Trump and Kennedy. Meanwhile, knowing that we're the ones who did all the hard work, okay? And they know that you are awakening to this. They have all the data, trust me. An organization called Palantir, run by Peter Thiel, is monitoring all of social media. They can monitor sentiment. It's called sentiment analysis. They know people are breaking. People are breaking from the left and the right, and they want real truth. So therefore, they have their anointed leaders, Trump, who's manipulating the right-wing MAGA, and then they have Kennedy, who's trying to bring some of the left and the right and completely clusterfuck everyone. But the good news is we exist. Historically, when people awaken, they have the not so obvious establishment, which corrals them back into the establishment, and then another 20 years of bullshit goes on. Not this time. This time, the movement for truth, freedom, and health exists. We have 500,000 people around the world, and we are doing open houses like today, where all of you get to come, you get to ask questions, we interact, and we all learn together. And we talk about deep questions, and we get to empower ourselves to recognize we don't have to follow this guy from a rapist family, who his wife hangs herself, and then 5 months later he's married to another woman who endorsed Hillary Clinton 3 times. I'm talking about Robert Kennedy, who in his own home everyone has to have the jab, the mRNA vaccine before they come. And this is in 2022. We are breaking you off your brainwashing to stop following the Kennedys and the Trumps. You don't have golden plated toilets. You don't get to go falconing, right, in Malibu. By the way, that's what Robert Kennedy does. That's a sport of the sheiks of Saudi Arabia, right? The elite of the elites. So if you think those people are going to help you, those people are going to shatter the swarm. Again, I keep saying you really have to have a serious come to Jesus moment and recognize that these people are like the Sadducees and the Pharisees at the time of Christ. They speak the words of God, but they do directly the opposite. And the only way out of this is for us to grow our movement. Good news, the movement is built. And what do I mean by the movement is built? The last video that John played prior to the presidential video, we have all these amazing tools. What are those tools? Well, first of all, the knowledge. As my great-grandfather said, knowledge is power. But in order to acquire that knowledge, you're going to have to sit down and work hard. A lot of students think, I just watched a YouTube video, I know everything. No, you can't get it that way. You have to study it. You have to go to class. You have to put in the time. A lot of the things I have to deal with young people who come to our movement is their parents didn't do their job. Their parents didn't discipline the kids. Their parents didn't tell the kids, shut the fuck up. You listen to me and you have to do your homework and you have to do it like this. Everyone can talk back. Everyone can do whatever they want. So you have a whole bunch of undisciplined matter that we have to work at, and we are doing that. So we have a whole infrastructure to train leaders, and we have to do the work that parents didn't do. It's a ton of work, guys, and I have to do it every day, but we do it because I care, because I come from one of you. Number 2, these people do not care about your suffering. The life expectancy of the United States is going like this, literally like this, since 1980. And that is brought to you by the left and the right. The left and the right, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, but both of them. Okay? They eat pasture-raised beef, organic foods, non-GMO stuff. They talk about regenerative farming, but not for you. Okay? Robert fucking Kennedy, think about him. I know where he lives in Malibu. He eats all the best foods, but he endorsed Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is for GMOs. She's for Monsanto. She supports glyphosate. She supports Roundup Ready, soy, and corn. Think about that contradiction. He doesn't give a fuck about you. In his own home, everyone had to be vaccinated. All of his kids got vaccinated. And I wish at some point, I'm going to play you this video. He talks about my children all had to be vaccinated. And this is with the mRNA vaccine. He says, they were going to law school and they couldn't get into law school. 3 of my kids until they got vaccinated. Think about what he's saying. Here's a lawyer supposedly fighting for medical freedom, and he didn't fight for his own kids. This is 2020, 2021, 2022. This guy's full of shit. And when I exposed him in 2020, he went into the Kennedy smear campaign, and he talks about he doesn't like bullies. He's a bully. He said, I was a vaccine maker. I'm friends with Bill Clinton. I'm friends with Bill Gates. He did the most outrageous false defamation. We had to sue him in federal court. He ran away from service. He defaulted, and we're going after him again. So Robert fucking Kennedy, Donald J. fucking Trump are all part of it. They probably banged the same people. That's how incestuous they are. So if you're coming to today, tonight, wherever you are, recognize that the great news is you have someone like me who could have sold out. I used all that knowledge, all those degrees to put together literally a university. You could call it the university to shatter the swarm. You have to start with the knowledge. You have to be disciplined. You have to learn the stuff. You have to sit on your ass, lock yourself in a room and study it. Number two, you got to get on the ground. You can go through the leadership program. You have to connect with other people. You can't be on these keyboards anymore because they're all controlled. And bottom line, you have to recognize they're running a theater. They are running a theater. They choose who the pro and the anti is. Oh, Robert Kennedy versus a doofus called Hotez. It's literally out of some freaking WWE. Mark Zuckerberg versus Zuck versus Musk. You see what they're doing? This is nothing out of like the gladiator games to misdirect you so you don't build a movement. But you don't have an excuse anymore because the movement for truth, freedom, and health exists. You have someone like me who's running for president. We know the legislature is corrupt. We know the presidency is corrupt. We know the judiciary is corrupt. I've experienced it. As president, I will do I'm not going to do anything different, but I'm going to use the bully pulpit of that presidency to educate billions, not just hundreds of millions, but billions overnight on how to boost your immune system, on how we should support our local farmers, and how you can start to think. And we will give you that education. What are the 7 secrets of innovating, right? How you can be a leader and how you manage your own finances. This is the future. It's got to be at the ends. Nothing can happen top down. Kennedy, Trump, their anointed leaders always bring you back to them, not to you. And that is how they make you hopeless. They make you hopeless by allowing you to expose them. And then you get into what's called learned helplessness. Because you think, I guess I can't do anything. The king just rapes my mother, my daughter. It's just the way to. I saw a video on it. I told them child trafficking. Oh, it's horrible. But that's what they do. There's nothing we can do. Well, the issue is we need to discuss 90% of the time what is to be done and maybe 10% of the time how they're screwing us. And that is what they don't want you to do. And they surely do not want you to follow one of your own like me or the leaders that we're developing. That is too dangerous because now you've broken from their anointed, screwball misleaders, Trump and Kennedy. Will always bring you back to them. That's why this movement's so powerful. So in closing, remember, the swarm is engineering your hopelessness through allowing idiots like James O'Keefe and all these people on Twitter. Everyone's a journalist now exposing something. They don't give a fuck about that. The more you expose, and you're doing that 99% of the time, and you're not even considering how you liberate yourself. And when you think about liberating yourself, the solution they give you is them. Oh, vote for Kennedy, vote for Trump. They're going to liberate you. As long as you're doing that, you're in the swarm. What concerns them is when you break from it, when you start becoming independent, understand the science of systems, figure out how you can be a leader, how you can obliterate the swarm, and you can deliver truth, freedom, and health to your family. That's what really concerns them. The good news is we're here. It's an educational movement to really awaken your consciousness. So I'm going to go back to our Zoom people, and I'm going to see what questions people have. So people on, we have quite a number of people here on social media logging in. Let me go back to our, John, are you there? Or Suresh? Can one of you guys?
Yes, sir.
John, can you select any questions? Let's take 3 questions from there, and I'll take 3 questions. So the questions, we'll open it up, and I may even share this, John, so people can see this. I'm going to share, okay? Yeah, so anyone on Zoom who has a question that you want to ask, so go ahead. We have lots and lots of amazing comments here. Go ahead, John.
I'm not seeing any messages.
Okay, I see some in the chat. Let's see if I can bring this up. Bernie Becerra says, Dr. Shiva, keep fighting. Someone said, do you know Gary Heaven? No, I don't know who Gary is. God bless you, Dr. Shiva, for your course and dedication. Let me go over here.
Catherine says, are you concerned that when they feel threatened, they will try to destroy you?
That they'll do what, John?
That they will try to destroy you.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about that. So can you give Catherine still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back. All right. I was just looking up a couple things here. Some interesting stuff. Like, for example, what we got? Oh, what's this? Oh, look at that. What the fuck is this shit? Oh my god. Oh, you love this one. Look at that picture. Look at that. Their new flag. This just gets better and better. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah, this makes me mad. Yeah, this just makes you mad. It's just a fucking joke. These people hated. Look at that Crenshaw in the middle. Yeah. You guys understand what Ukraine is, right? Ukraine has nothing to do with the people. They're all sacrificial. Fucking Zelensky knows it. They're sacrificial. They're expendable so that these people can get richer. These people here. That's what this is about. That's all this is about. It's to build NATO and NATO's military industrial complex and all their 31 countries. That's all this is about. It's the fucking circle jerk. You know. And then look at that flag. That's our new flag, according to the warmongers. They're not warm. They're just money launderers. Ukraine is the biggest money laundering scam on the planet. That's all it is. And it goes, all that money goes to the World Economic Forum. It goes to the fucking Council on Foreign Relations. It goes to the fucking State Street, BlackRock, Vanguard. You know, these giant companies, these fucking parasitic class of just the predator class, we should call them, because they're a bunch of fucking predators. That's all they are. They're a bunch of fucking pedophile, predators, sick motherfuckers. That's all these people are. And they're just disgracing our flag now. You know, but you can do whatever you want with it, but I'm just saying, you know, that's, sure, you're right. That's why we fight for your First Amendment right. You know, to do whatever you want. It's right, but what that really means is they're just fucking just crazy. It's just so crazy, and people just buy into this shit left and right. Right? Oh, what's this?
And rearing to go.
3 hours to design a vaccine.
So we downloaded the sequence in 3 hours, and as soon as we received that code, we were able to immediately start designing the vaccine, and in 3 hours we had a design ready and raring to go.
3 hours to design a vaccine.
So we downloaded the sequences from the Chinese government, we put it into our proprietary algorithm that generates the vaccines, and in 2 hours we had the vaccine already designed, and it went straight into manufacture. As soon as we received...
Wow, that's fast. That's fucking warp speed fast. Isn't that crazy? That's warp speed fast. Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna pin it. I don't know what the fuck what that shit is. What was this show? He put something up the other day. Right? This is what she put up. New study finds homelessness mainly tied to high housing costs. Right? Yeah. And a shitload of other things. No shit. Exactly. No shit. Wow. No shit, Sherlock kind of thing. Oh, what's this? Wait.
To take things that I love that we did at Johnson was we required everybody to take an introduction to unconscious bias class, but then also we had a more race, power, and privilege that was a deeper class, and we required all supervisors to take that. So to me, one of the things that I think the agency should be doing is all supervisors should be required to take training like that to know how to have those conversations so that they're not just relying on whatever their personal mindset or perspective is. And you know, I can tell you, JSC being in the Bible Belt, there are a certain number of people who probably would fully botch that conversation if they didn't have any training. Not everybody is open-minded, and not everybody is, you know, some people would have a negative reaction. That I love that we did at John.
So the way CEI works, just so you know, is the reason for it is division, and money and division. So they know it's doing it. They know it. None of it's organic. I already went over all this before, a fucking bunch of times. That's the corporate equality index, and if you don't follow this rule, they pull back money and funding, and you know that's what they want. It's a distraction as well, and some other things, but it's pretty fucked up, man. Let me check. I just put in my favorites some new ones here. What do we got? Let's go to favorites. Oh, here's some interesting from DC Drano. Read this one. Read this one. No, not you. Whoa. Whoa. What the heck? So Ed Buck was convicted in 2021 of 9 federal charges, including the deaths of Gamil Moore and Tim Dean. Buck, who lured young black gay men to his apartment where he would inject them with personal meth for sexual gratification. 2 of them died. Here he is with his censored friend Adam Schiff. You know, this is like the purest case of guilt by association. This is guilt by association. And if you watch, I think Schiff says, I think he's over here somewhere. Yeah. I think I had him in here. Wait, hold on. Let's see what he has to say. It was in there. Hold on. I just saw he had said something. Oh, this guy's good. Edward Dowd. What does he have?
Larry, is, and I think this might be coincidence, but it does sing to me. In the clinical Pfizer, the Pfizer trial that they tried to hide for 75 years, the all-cause mortality of the vaccine group was 23% higher than the all-cause mortality of the placebo group. Wow. And what do we have today currently running in the U.S. for excess mortality? 23%, according to our numbers. Right. I just find that curious.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's some serious shit. That is some serious shit, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Oh, let's see what Shithead has to say. Oh, look at this. That's a good one right here. I like this picture. Let's get this picture. I want to see this whole picture. Transgender woman Gabrielle Lidwig returns to college court. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh yeah, that's fair. What are you, stupid? Come on. That is so fair. Come on, man. Stop being racist, you Nazis. Jesus. That's fucking crazy. Look at that. That guy's like, what, like 6'6"? Right? These girls are like 5'4", 5'9", maybe max. Let's see what fucking...
So tonight the Republicans in the House voted to censure me. And let me see if I can break down what this was all about. A representative from Florida, who's one of the extreme MAGA Republicans named Luna, ironically, introduced a resolution last week to censure me. It failed. 1 out of every 10 Republicans voted against this abuse of the House process. She brought it back this week, and the main difference was that Donald Trump put out a statement saying that any Republican that voted against this censure would be or should be subject to a primary challenge. And as his threats have often done in the past, it worked. All those that voted against it last week voted for it this week, and it passed on a party line basis. Now, I need to tell you, this is very rare to have a censure resolution and never used to basically try to silence someone who has stood up to their party leader. That is a completely illegitimate use of a censure resolution.
Are you talking about
But
this
you know, I'll
guy?
tell you something very...
Is this the guy we're talking about? It's this guy, right? Isn't this the same guy? With his buddy, Ed Buck? Right? And DC Drainer, we've had conversations, by the way. Just brilliant stuff he puts out. He finds some really good information. Pertinent, valid, real. This really happened. And this is the guy they're trying to protect. Right? And they're trying to protect this guy here. Right? That guy right there. It's sad to even laugh at this, but it just really indicates where we're at. That our government, a lot of the players, they're just so disgusting. Beyond disgusting. I can't even, there's like not even a word for it, man. It's just, as I'm sitting there tonight, I was with my grandson and my daughter's brother was there too, and my daughter's husband. So it was just the 4 guys, kind of going out. And my nephew came and sat down next to me, and he watched pretty much the whole movie next to me. He was kind of curling up next to me. Yeah, I'm like a big pillow. And I'm just thinking about his future and what he has to deal with, right? And what he's going to, and who are the people that he's going to entrust to make sure that there's integrity, there's loyal integrity from them, within them, which there's not. If there's loyalty to the 99.9% instead of the lobbyists and the unelected officials of like the World Economic Forum and all these other entities, NGOs and shit, WHO and shit. And it just rolls through my head like, what the fuck? That's why I do this. That's why I started doing this in 2014 with my Blog Talk radio show. I was just really concerned about the future of my daughter, her family, my sons and their family, hopefully in the future. And just trying to make sure that daughters, by the way, I have several daughters and several sons. The thing is I just want to make sure that people in the future that we look up to aren't in any way compromised, not just a little bit, not just kind of compromised, or maybe just teeter-totters on the fence of compromisation, right, or whatever. That not at all. And I've always brought up Citizens United. Citizens United is corporations or people, and they're able to send as much money through whatever means they can. McCutcheon versus FEC is also bad as well. That's why you have people like Klaus Schwab that love Citizens United. That's why you have Yuval Harari that loves Citizens United. Yeah, Snook, I'm not asking you to stay up. I mean, I'm up. This is my hour. Like right now I'm at my lunch at work. So, that's just the way my hours work. But this guy's a sick pig, and there's a bunch of them. They're fucking, it's just loaded with these fucking creeps. Let's go down a little bit more here. See what else we got. Hotels. That guy's just such shit. Yeah. Let me go here. I'll show you some more interesting stuff. I kind of recently pulled this. Let's see what Tucker has to say.
To study last week by three researchers. Numbers you need to understand. Yale University released a study last week by three researchers, all of them liberal, I believe, who concluded that the actual number of illegal aliens in this country is not 11 million, it's north of 22 million. 22 million. Fact one. Fact two. The Democratic Party is now, as a matter of policy, calling for the legalization of all illegals in this country. Citizenship voting rights. 22 million new voters. Fact three. The overwhelming majority of first-time immigrant voters vote Democrat. Fact four. The largest margin in American presidential history was 17 million votes. 1984 election between Mondale and Reagan.
And Reagan, yeah.
17 million. You would add to our voter rolls 22 million, at least, permanent electoral majority in perpetuity. That's what this is about. It's not about making the country better, serving our labor needs, helping the population. It's about putting Democrats in power forever. That is the truth of our immigration debate, period.
Yeah, well, I'm also concerned about the Chinese nationals that are coming in. It's like, what the fuck? What's this? I don't need to hear the music. Some of this music is... Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of sex trafficking children. A judge refuses to release the list of who she sold them to. Up until the list is released, have only one conclusion. All of them are on it. Every last damn billionaire, prince, and politician. Have a nice day. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. That's exactly why. And this came out of the pike recently. Who wants to see this happen?
This is really going to happen.
Well, just to get...
Can we be excited about this? Is there a possibility this is really going to happen?
Well, just to give some clarification. So what he said is Mark Zuckerberg responded with "send me location," which is something that Habib Nurmagomedov says when people challenge him. So that was what "send me location" meant. And I was talking to both Elon and Mark last night. Both guys are absolutely dead serious about this.
Now, wait. Tell us why you say that.
Because they both said, yeah, we'll do it. They both want to do it. Mark Zuckerberg hit me up first and said, is he serious? And I said, I don't know. Let me ask him. I asked him, and he said, yeah, I'm dead serious. Obviously and I agree with you, Harvey.
Yeah, I want to see that. Not that it matters.
Impeachment vote on Joe just passed.
Yeah, look at that. The impeachment vote went through in the House. But guess what has to happen next? Do you guys know what has to happen next? Does anybody know? It's got to go to the Senate. And the Senate is full of Democrats, right? So, like I said, this isn't going to go far, but it's a good start to get the ball rolling, right? It's a good start to get the ball rolling, for sure. Nothing's still happening, these fucking people, that's all I'm saying. I don't see anybody going to jail anytime soon. And then there's also else was I?
We've learned a lot of unknown activities of the CIA in years past. Some of the children and the CIA. We've learned a lot of unknown activities of the CIA in years past, some of them disturbing, to say the least. Tonight, we'll learn of the agency's interest in children. Paul Altmaier of our investigative unit has assembled these facts.
These are home movies taken in the 1950s at a European camp of the Children's International Summer Village, a program designed to bring together children from around the world for a better understanding of one another. NBC News has learned that the CIA was studying these youngsters, some as young as 11, as possible future recruits. The studies took place at summer camps in Hannefest, Norway, and Vienna, Austria in 1959 and 1960. According to CIA documents we have examined, this was Sub-Project 103 of the agency's top-secret MK Ultra program. San Antonio, Texas. NBC News has also learned that the CIA paid for a study of adolescence here and in two other Texas cities, Austin and El Paso, in 1958 and 1959. It was a study of how youngsters behave without adult supervision. This study, MK Ultra Sub-Project 102, refers to data being collected on 462 subjects in 7 secondary schools.
The children and the children.
Isn't that crazy? Shit's still happening. All right, this is the last thing I'm going to show, and I'm gone. I'm gone.
Hey, who wants to learn about the letter H?
I do!
Now what can we do with the letter H?
We can hula hoop.
Or?
Create a massive global hoax.
What Ernie's referring to is the Apollo 11 moon landing that supposedly took place on July 20th, 1969.
To quote Neil Armstrong, this is one small step for man
and one giant lie to mankind. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi, Ticket-Taker Sam. Sam's been riding the rails ever since mean old Microsoft stole his formula for Windows 95.
Hey, Sam, I hear you've got a story for the kids.
I sure do, Miss Janice, and it's a real whiz-banger. Once upon a time, there was a president named Kennedy.
I promised to put a man on the moon before the end of the decade.
Mr. President, didn't you also promise civil rights?
That's another story, Trevor. Now excuse me while I go sleep with Judith Exner.
Meanwhile, poor inept NASA couldn't get a rocket into space. Pew!
So, they turned to Plan B.
I'm LBJ. Boom! The end of the decade is here, and there's still no Americans on the moon. Those Ruskies are gonna beat us to it.
I'll help you, Mr. President.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Stanley Kubrick, and I'll use some tricks I learned while filming the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey, to fake a moon landing.
And we're the Mafia, and we'll fund your scam to build a secret soundstage in Las Vegas.
Good. While people think they're in space, we'll keep the astronauts busy with whores and gambling. Then we'll pay them off, or brainwash them, or kill them.
The end.
Yay! Squawk? But is there any real proof it was a hoax? Squawk!
Is this proof enough, Gully Bird?
Wow!
I used to fly to the moon all the time.
Hobo Dan! Hey, Hobo Dan, how did you fly to the moon?
With the only real astronaut, Dr. Timothy Leary. Oh, Hobo Dan. Hey, that reminds me of a song. This old moon rocket ain't what it appears to be.
Ain't what it appears to be.
Ain't what it appears to be.
This old moon rocket ain't what it appears to be because it was baked in a kiln
in Japan.
Yay! Thanks, Hobo Dan. That was fun credible. And the truth.
Uh-oh, someone's ringing the doorbell. To the safe room, kid. To the safe room.
Well, that's all the time that we have for now. We'll be back with more reading later. Until then, the most important part of reading is reading between the lines.
Ringing the doorbell. To the safe room, kid. To the safe room.
Well, that's all the time that we have for now. We'll be back with more reading later. Until then, the most important part of reading is reading between the lines. Well, that's all the time that we have for now. We'll be back with more reading later. Until then, the most important part of reading is reading between the lines.
Sayonara, pigs.
That was a good one. All right. Aloha, guys. Take care. Have a good evening. Good morning. Good day.